大家好，我是秦苏珊律师。那今天的话呢，我会跟我们的律师团队讨论一下最近保释的情况。那最近的话呢，很多人被 ICE 抓走了。那抓走了进去以后，我们申请这个保释。那有的人的话呢，是很快就能保释出来；那有的人呢，就是上好几个庭才能保释出来。所以今天我们想讨论一下，就是说什么样的人可以保释，什么样的人呢很难保释出来。那保释不出来的话，我们接下来该怎么办？Hey, Judge Hum, congratulations yesterday, on securing a bond for $5,000. That's actually a very long bond in a while. So can you tell us how you were able to secure this particular bond?
As to the bond issue, we argued that the individual who had come in to the United States about 10 years ago was released on humanitarian grounds and then rearrested just recently by ICE, which is now their policy of taking people into custody and then holding them in custody and trying to deny bond on their behalf. But we were able to secure a bond by showing that the current policy of the administration in terms of rearresting individuals that had come into the United States at a much earlier time cannot be considered as arriving and therefore not under mandatory detention and therefore entitled to a bond. The fact that he has a wife and 2 children here that live in Los Angeles, and that they were pursuing asylum and recently attended their asylum office interview and are awaiting a decision, we convinced the judge that a bond would be appropriate under those circumstances. The government argued that it was a speculative request for relief and that it's taken them 10 years with no visible activity in terms of trying to rectify their status or his status. And I pointed out to the court that the individual shouldn't be punished for the lack of expediency on the part of the asylum office, because they did file the asylum application in 2016, just 2 years after he came into the United States. And it was the delay on the part of the asylum office to adjudicate based upon their current policy of adjudicating last first. So the judge took that into consideration and issued the minimal bond. The government, although they did oppose the bond initially, waived their right to appeal, and we were able to secure the bond.
Mm-hmm. So this person shouldn't have been arrested in the first place, and they applied for affirmative asylum when they came in when they had their legal status, and then they waited for 10 years to go to the asylum office for their interview, and then shortly after the interview, he got arrested.
Yes, the timing of this is primarily based upon the current administration's attempt to satisfy its political promise of deporting as many people as they can, 1 million people within the next year. Now, they're woefully short on that. And 2, they originally said that they were going to deport criminals and terrorists and people who are aligned against the U.S. But this individual and many individuals that people have been arrested and taken into custody. And you've probably witnessed this on the television or read it in the news, where people were legally attending their interview or asylum hearing, were taken into custody and being detained. So this is a recent thing on the part of the administration, and I think it's woefully misguided. And it's certainly causing a lot of chaos in the community. But bonds are difficult to obtain, particularly if the government is asserting that they're arriving. And there is some language that says they can consider individuals that came in within the last 2 years as arriving and under mandatory detention. But our office has been pretty aggressive in terms of challenging that determination and arguing that the bond is appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Judge Hum. So Craig, you've done a lot of custody hearings as well, right? And then I guess depends on the detention's location. Some detentions we are able to secure a bond. So what do you think of these bond hearings, the custody hearings?
Yeah, I mean, it's very problematic. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see, these administrative judges are part of the Department of Justice, which falls under the Trump administration. You know, they're not necessarily, like Article 3 judges, that are appointed to enforce the law. They're taking direction from the administration, and the administration just keeps on changing their policies, and they want make it more difficult for people to obtain bond because they want to put people in detention facilities, and they're building more detention facilities, and they want to put more people in detention to prevent them or discourage them for applying for asylum because they want to make conditions so difficult for individuals so that they allow to be deported. Because instead of they think it's too luxurious for people to be out and working, waiting for their asylum hearing, and it encourages people to seek asylum when their argument is you shouldn't be claiming asylum. So this is just a way to discourage people, to make things more difficult for people, to scare people. But I think a lot of these judges are under direction to deny bond or claim they don't have jurisdiction to grant bond. So it's definitely very challenging, but that's why you need to zealously advocate for bond when appropriate, because most of these people don't deserve to be in detention. These are non-criminals that are not a threat to the community. They're not a flight risk, but this administration is trying to actively make it very difficult in punishing good people to send a message, which is it's very, very, very scary times right now.
Indeed. So Tyler, 就是像我们在加州的话呢，就是过去2-3个月吧，就是大量的抓人。那1个月以前的话呢，国土安全局出了一个叫 Operation at Large， 就是抓人行动。那很多人在加州都被抓了。那纽约这边，你能不能大概讲一下我们纽约这边的客人的状况？就是很多客人被抓了，那他们来找到你，就是我们律所都是怎么帮助这些客人去申请保释的？
好，纽约这边上也是大量的抓人，像昨天新泽西刚刚查到了一个海关仓库就是转运仓，抓了20多人，对，也是一个大的行动。那么当然也有中国人就是说走线客被抓的，他们有在去法庭小庭的时候被抓，也有去报到的时候被抓。当然他们找到咱们律所呢，第一时间我要分析他的情况入境时间是否满2年，然后他有没有逮捕，有没有指控的记录。然后分析之后，他有保释的条件资格，那么我才去接手这个案子，然后分给律师去进行下一步。对
，OK， 对，就是刚才呢，我们团队大概就是我们的前退休移民法官洪法官呢，还有 Craig， 还有我们的总经理 Tyler， 我们也都讲了，就是在秦苏珊律师楼，就是关于保释这一块那川普上台了以后，大量的抓人，特别是上个月的这个抓人行动启动以后呢，最初是在加州轰轰烈烈的抓人，那接下来的话呢，在各个州都开始抓人。那刚才我们的经理 Tyler 也讲了，像新泽西的话抓了20几个人，然后纽约其实也陆陆续续有不少人被抓，什么佛罗里达呀，佛罗里达也是大面积的在抓人，就连我的家乡宾夕法尼亚匹兹堡前2天新闻爆料出来，有很多人被抓。那我们这边整个律师团队的话呢，就是我们首先会分析你的案子，就是像刚才我们的经理Tyler也讲了，就是如果说一个案子进来，我们先会了解你的大概情况，例如你入境美国多少年了，然后呢你在美国是什么时候开始申请的这个庇护身份，还有就是说你们的就在美国有没有什么家人然后你的担保人状况有没有刑事犯罪记录那我们了解你的情况了以后呢，那我们就会向国土安全局去提交这个 bond， 那提交 bond 以后呢，那我们就会根据你的具体的案子以及你所关的这个监狱去决定，我们就是要对你提交什么样的一个保释，然后在保释的时候会需要提交什么样的就是书面辩护以及什么样的证据，这样的话呢才能提高我们就是能帮你拿到一个很好的就是保释庭批准。那昨天的话呢，我们的洪法官拿到了一个就是保释，那是$5000，那这是我们这几个月里面保释金最低的一个保释的案子。所以如果说您或者是你的家人或者是朋友或者任何人现在关在监狱里面，或者是说有被抓的可能性，或对你的案子不确定的话呢，请随时的联系秦苏珊律师楼。